Hello, America. I am Mike Dexter, reporting to you for Liberty News. All the news in the news you can use. Our story today is fact, but it is definitely stranger than fiction. Tonight we delve into the seedy world of To Kill a Mockingbird. You've read the book, seen the play, and watched the movie, all the while thinking it was a piece of fiction. But America, what they didn't tell you, that those events really took place in Macomb, Alabama. Only now it is known as Baker Hill. We at Liberty News have recently discovered an interview with the notorious Robert E. Lee Ewell. Now, for the first time, America will get the chance to hear the truth about the sordid tale. Let's roll the clip. Good evening, Alabama. Thank you for turning in to Precision News at 9. I am anchorman Ronald Anderson, reporting tonight from Macomb, Alabama. I am here in the home of Mr. Robert E. Lee Ewell. Mr. Ewell is accused of the horrendous crime of stabbing a young boy named Jem Finch. He is currently under house arrest and until this point has refused talking to the media. But I, anchorman Ronald Anderson, have been granted the first and only exclusive interview with the notorious Mr. Ewell. Without further ado, we will get right to the questions. Mr. Ewell, thank you for agreeing to this interview. Are you ready to tell the public your side of the story? Let's get to business, shall we? Mr. Ewell, tell us about the events that transpired on the evening of October 31st. Well, it was getting kinda hectic down at the house, seeing as we were still tense 'cause the trial. And I ain't never seen the likes of way people got riled up all that. And seeing as me and Mayella weren't on good terms, I figured I'd go on a walk to clear my head. So I was just walking in the woods, just minding my own business. And when I see Atticus's young'uns walking by, so being the kind of responsible person that I am, I figured I'd follow them, just keep an eye on them, seeing as how it was so late in the evening and y'all. You never know what kind of varmints and lowlife are out there about at night. That's all I was doing. Now, we have it on record, Jem and Jean Louise Finch, the two children you say you were following out of concern for their safety. They said that they heard a noise like footsteps, but they only heard it when they were walking. When they stopped walking, the footstep noise stopped as well. So what? Well, Mr. Ewell, since you confirmed that it was you indeed that was following them, wouldn't that obviously lead us to believe that you were actually following them with some other motive than their safety? What, sir, do you have to say about that? Well, I don't give a rat's behind what you think or do not think. I know what I know, and I know that I was not following them to do anything other than look out for them. You tell them and the rest of the people I was only looking after them for their well-being. Okay, fair enough, but there is one little fact that deserves an explanation. You and Jem both were stabbed. Can you tell me how this happened? If, as you say, you were looking out for their well-being, it just doesn't add up. I'll tell you what happened. It wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. It was that monster living in the Radley place. I saw with my own eyes. We was right there in front of the house, when all of a sudden he ran out the front door and down off the porch. Before I could even make a move, he pulled out a knife and goes to stabbing poor little Jem. Now, being the kind of law-abiding person I am, loving kids like I do, I jumped right in and pulled that monster off the little boy before he goes to stabbing him right in the face. I saved that boy's life, I did, but it plumb near cost me my own. because that crazy creation of God turned his knife on me and cut me right there. I'm pretty good with hand-to-hand combat, though, so I was able to disarm him before he could get to the poor little scout. That crazy monster went hightailing it back into his run-down shack before I could do what someone should have done a long time ago. And what is that? Someone should rid the world of that crazy barman, put him down, hang him from a tree. But Mr. Yule, the knife has your fingerprints on it. How do you explain that? That evil monster put the knife in my hand before he skedaddled into his dingy little shack. Are you saying that Boo Radley attacked Jem Finch for no apparent reason, and then had the presence of mind to actually put the knife in your hand so it would look like you were the assailant?
Go.
You got that right. I swear on my mama's grave, it's the truth. There is no evidence that it was me that harmed those little kids. No evidence at all. Okay, but the strangest thing happened later that night. You were actually pronounced dead. Tell us how that happened. Yes'm, it was that incompetent police officer. He thinks he knows everything, he can figure stuff out. He told everyone I fell on my knife, but that ain't how it happened. I tell you, I was stabbed by Arthur Radley. And that's the doggone truth. I lost some blood and passed out, but we use a strong folk. It takes a lot more than a little stab with a knife to kill old Robert E. Lee Yule. As you can see, I'm as live as you are, and I'm going to clear my name for justice. Boo Radley, you know what you did. You're going to hang for it, too. That's all I got to say. Well, there you have it, folks. It seems that there may be more to the story than meets the eye. Was Robert Yule really framed for the dastardly crime? Does his name deserve to be dragged through the gutter? Perhaps we will never know for sure. Unfortunately, we will have to wait until more evidence becomes available. When it does, you can be sure that I will be reporting it. Until then, this has been reporter Ronald Anderson, coming to you from the scene of the crime in Macomb, Alabama. Amazing story. Will we ever really know the truth? Can we ever really know for sure? I guess there are always two sides to every story. We may never know what really happened on that fateful night in Macomb, Alabama, also known as Baker Hill, Alabama, but what we do know is one thing for sure, that Ronald Anderson is one good-looking anchorman. You know he is. And just as all stories must come to an end, we have come to an end of our broadcast. Thank you for joining us tonight at Liberty News. This is Mike Dexter, signing off. Stay classy. Wait for it. America. Hello, America. I'm Mike Dexter, reporting for Liberty News. All the news... That's my bad. Good evening, Alabama. And thank you... Good evening, Alabama. Good evening, Alabama. Thank you for turning in...
No.
Mr. Robert E. Lee Yule, thank you for agreeing to this interview. Are you ready to tell the public your side of the story? I'm not clicking back and forth. Mr. Well, as I was getting well, I don't give a rat's behind what you think or don't think about that. I know what I know, and I know that I was not following them for anything other than someone should win the... I say monster way too much. Yes'm. That incompetent police officer. That's not that. Where'd he go? Oh, well, guess we don't have a broadcast. Well, this is awkward. Well, what's that? What are you doing? No, don't eat it. No.